Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, no doubt, continues now. This, my fellow Americans, is the broadcast for March 6th in the year of our Lord 2025. This is Hour 202. The goal always to promote God, family, and country, and to protect life, liberty, and property, and to do so using the checks and balances brilliantly put in place by the Founding Fathers, one of the peaceful solutions we have at our fingertips. Rejecting revolution, unless it's a peaceful revolution, we're in because we follow the Prince of Peace. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Last hour we had on Pete Sepp, National Taxpayers Union, NTU.org, and Brian Rust, freewatercoinco.com. You've got a friend in the honest money business, and you've got a friend in the tax reduction business on your radio. Honest Money Report, it's interesting to me that basically gold's down a bit, 29.15, 20. Silver, 32.59. So silver's up a little bit, gold's a little bit down. But we talked about that in terms of money. And I really commend Trump for his speech. Trump tells American children, you are perfect, exactly the way God made you. Wow, isn't that something? Isn't that impressive? There's only two genders, says the President of the United States. Boy, is he right scientifically, and is he right morally? Absolutely. Is he right? Yes. You know, good. The liberals are going crazy, though. They don't know what to do with that. So CNN, literally then, when Donald Trump says, hey, man, we're spending big money on moving, trying to create transgender mice. What? CNN forced to issue a correction. They said it's not true. They said they had. CNN said they had not. Turns out they had. The White House brought the receipts. Okay. CNN got egg on their face big time over this, folks. Big time. Well, what we're talking about is fundamental things, right? And some could say, well, that's just a distraction, Sam. Who cares? Trump was right. They were wrong. They fact-checked it, didn't do their job, made a mistake. No, this is the mainstream press that for decades has been telling you nobody should be in the press position but us. The main gatekeepers. We're the gate. Nobody gets to the president but by our press pool. Nobody gets to report this. Hey, and now they've got egg on their face so many times it's not even funny. And you go back to the speech President Trump gave 2 days ago. And man, I'm telling you right now, it was a great speech. Was it perfect? No. But the liberals literally lost their minds. So yesterday, James Edwards and I broke that down in detail. Democratic lawmakers boo Trump. But the American people loved it, ladies and gentlemen. The Blaze says, and they're right, the people loved it. Everybody that I talked to loved it. Trump paints optimistic picture of America's golden age during his historic presidential congressional address. We talked about 12 takeaways. Okay, great stuff. Anyway, then we talked about this parody. Zelensky reveals who's been stealing U.S. dollars meant for Ukraine. It's a big old joke, but it was quite funny. Trump says that a new White House Office of Shipbuilding is meant to counteract China's shipbuilding. That's good. Supreme Court orders Trump to follow, or his administration to go ahead and continue spending on foreign aid. Who does this clown judge think he is? China says that it's ready for any type of war with the United States. I'm going to save that headline because I really think it's worth talking about that. Of all the headlines, that's probably the biggest headline in America. What is China talking about when they say they're ready for any type of war with the U.S.? It's a veiled threat. Okay, BBC.com with this. It's a veiled threat, folks. It's not a, we'll go to a trade war if we have to, or, man, Trump, please don't do this. We want peace, but if you drag us into a war. Okay, China has basically threatened the nuclear option multiple times. Some would say, well, they're only speaking financially, Sam. Maybe, maybe not. When they say those kind of things, it's a veiled threat. What does any kind of war with the United States mean? Is that even broader than saying we're going to use the nuclear option? None of that, in my mind, seems like just a trade discussion. And my response to them would be, why are we even considering a trade war? We're not at a trade war with anybody. Okay, we're simply saying that these other countries have tariffs on us, and we're going to basically have the same tariffs they have on us on them. Now, I don't like the eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth mentality, But we've tried to be the peacemaker for a long time. We've said, hey, you've got high tariffs on us. We've got low tariffs on you. The problem is it's drained our treasury dry. Okay? It's literally melted us down. We're now $36 trillion in debt. That doesn't even count unfunded liabilities or anything. We're so far in debt, we will never, ever, ever peacefully get out of debt, people. Write that down. I don't mean to be alarmist, but I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. We will never, ever, ever, ever be able to get out of debt at this rate. Okay? And the mainstream press has just become an enemy. I mean, you've had the Democrats so rude when President Trump gave his speech, and the media just backed their play. Oh my gosh, Trump's a clown. His speech was horrible. Da 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 da. Never mind the fact that he's talking about some real solutions here, some real common sense answers, some real solutions to the table. Congress, the Republicans are like, yeah. But then their leaders like, yeah, let's go ahead and, fund the current spending and we'll deal with Doge later. No, it means you'll deal with getting kicked out of office later. Anybody who doesn't have a big war chest, right? And so I look at this stuff and I go, we've got to do something different. We have got to really have the people behind President Trump. So you look at this thing and go, what the heck? What do we do? Now, House censures Democratic Al Green for disrupting President Trump's whatever in Congress. The Gateway Pundit. Okay, now, here's the deal. I think it was rude of Green to act the way he did, but they already gave him a T. They already ejected him from the the arena, right? Do we need to censure him too? What does that even mean when we censure somebody? We just say, bad boy, slap you on the hand, 10 stripes with a wet noodle? I mean, what does he get for his censure? For disrupting President Trump's, whatever. And 10 Democrats voted yes. Democrats start singing like idiots after the vote. Well, I can see why, right? I mean, people are just sick of it. And I don't know where to go with this thing, because what do? We're just going to spend our time when we've got, listen to me carefully, we've got literally 2 weeks before a debt ceiling meltdown, right? And the House is spending their time censuring Al Green because he was a clown. He already got teed up. He already got kicked out. Right? They teed him up. They said, hey, man, stop that or you're going. Kept going. So they teed him up, gave him another tee. He's out. Now you say, Sam, they don't have tees in Congress. I know, people. I get it. I'm just using this as kind of a metaphor to help you understand. For the average person that doesn't know congressionalese or whatever you want to call it, the rules, Robert's Rules of Order and all this other complicated garbage. I'm boiling it down to the average Joe and saying, hey, man, he got a tee. He didn't listen. He kept battling back and forth, talking to the refs, blah, 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 and boom, they just teed him up, kicked him out. You're out, gone. Right? Now, is that enough, or do we got to spend our precious time in Congress censuring this guy in the House? What for? He has every right to stand up and be belligerent if he wants to, and we have every right to kick him out. That's all. But when you censure him, what does that mean? A big old... It's not a fact. It's just like a resolution. We think you're a bad boy, and we're going to slap you on the wrist. And now you don't get any special seniority appointments because we're mad at you for a while. Shouldn't have done that. That was rude. But every other Democrat sat there and was very, very, very rude as well. Extremely rude. I mean, they literally, President Trump brought some people that have been abused by illegal aliens and their lives ruined and some dead. And Trump brings it up, and the Democrats don't even acknowledge those special guests. In my opinion, the suffering that has taken place at the hands of some illegal criminal aliens. Hey, both sides of the aisle should be saying, hey, that's wrong. It's got to stop. Yes, and been polite and clapped and welcomed those people. But they didn't. They didn't at all. So which is worse, the guy, Al Green, that stands up and gets teed up and kicked out, or the people that sat there the whole time, rude as could be, intentionally creating a rift in a sacred place, the House of Representatives, where the president is literally speaking to the people. And these guys, which is worse, the Al Green that got kicked out, or all these other Democrats that sat there and booed? They literally brought up this child that's got brain cancer or whatever, and they made him an honorary Secret Service member. I think it's incredible. And Trump then says, hey, guys, well, we'll talk about it. Where he basically said, hey, your children, you need to be happy with how God made you. You're perfect as God made you. And then he makes a child a Secret Service honorary agent. You got to dig it.
This is a battle.
The level's so low I can't even hear it.
A battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
All right, so we're talking about the House censors Democratic Rep Al Green for disrupting President Trump's speech to Congress. And I get why they're frustrated with this. I think that he was rude. I think he was disrespectful. I think he was basically a clown. But you know what? Why try to violate or get in the way of his free speech, okay? He got teed up and kicked out. What's worse, a guy like that stands up, says what he means what he says, thinks what he wants. Hey, I got a problem with this, and then they kick him out. Bad. Censure. Boom. We're going to waste precious time on a censure when we really need to be dealing with the debt ceiling and some of these other critical, vital issues, tax relief for the American people, and so on and so on and so forth. All right. Meanwhile, you got these other Democrats sitting there, and they boo everything. They don't stand up. They don't smile. Even at President Trump's attempts at jokes, they don't even laugh at. So, for example, they're like, hey, Trump says you better get voting on our plan, because if you don't, I think people are going to vote you out. Well, it was kind of comical. Both sides of the aisle do this. Okay. But at the end of the day, these people, they didn't clap for the people that were suffering at the hands of illegal aliens. They didn't clap for the young man that has brain cancer. I mean, how do you not clap for that when President Trump says, hey, children of America, God made you, and you are just perfect the way God made you. And then he basically says, hey, there's a young man in the group here who wanted to be a cop. And by the way, we got to protect our police. And then he goes on and he says, this young man can't continue because he's got brain cancer, but I'm going to make him an honorary member of the Secret Service. I mean, he just made this kid's dream come true. Talking about reaching out to the American people with meaningful, productive, and you can say, well, that's just one kid, Sam. He did it for political reasons, and maybe so, maybe not. There's always a political overtone. Any good you do, you can say, oh, well, you're just doing it for the you're just doing it for the whatever. Maybe not. I don't judge President Trump's heart. All I know is this. He made that kid's life dream come true. And he brought in an average family that would get no recognition in society otherwise and said, hey, this is a great example of a kid wanting to be all that they could be, this idea that you're just perfect the way God made you, and then basically does this. What a heroic effort by President Trump. And those and whether you believe it's for political purposes or not, set that aside. Don't attribute your own storytelling to a given instance. Okay? Trump did make this boy's dream come true. It was largely symbolic, but that symbolism matters. You know what, children? You can become anything you want to become in America. And sometimes God holds you back, or sometimes you're held back. And it's easy to blame it on God, but you know what? God made you just the way you need to be made. We're male and female, two genders, and we're going to go ahead and restore America. And the Democrats didn't clap through any of that. They didn't even acknowledge that young man. What a disgrace they are. And I don't mean to be so partisan because I'm never really a Republican Democrat guy. But when they make it that blunt, that partisan, that side of the aisle-ish, is that a word? Just made it up, I guess. Side of the aisle-ish. Anyway, what I'm saying is, folks, what's wrong with these people? Okay, Elizabeth Warren goes directly off the rails after Trump demolishes her. I mean, we're just talking about back and forth, and it's all clown show. None of it benefits America that I can see, right? Now, Mike Johnson just emailed me and a bunch of other people. I just get put on lists whether I want to be or not. Can you keep a secret, he says? This is Mike Johnson. We've uncovered the far left scheme to hold power foul. F-O-W-E-R. I guess it's supposed to be power flower. Anyway, open the borders and flood this country with illegals. Hand out generous benefits and get them illegally. Register to vote. Swamp the polls with their new army of big, loyal voters. We managed to stop them for now, but the Democrats are already preparing to make a big comeback, and we're not able to declare victory just yet. If we want to make long-term change and prevent Democrats from taking over, we have to do more. That involves sending strong, sweeping legislation to President Trump's desk. In order to stop the Democrats, we need to ensure President Trump has a strong Republican majority in Congress for all 4 years of his term. Can we count on you to step up and give me money? You're the guy that's asking me for money, Mike Johnson. You're the guy that's asking me for money, and you just literally said, hey, let's pass the current spending bills. Let's look at Doge and their savings later. And now you want to come to me begging me for money when you've been in office for 2 months? How do you have time to send us this email, but you don't have time to get anything done on the House floor? And the media all too willing. The media is carrying the ball. CNN literally lied, got caught about Trump. And now at the end of the day, I just look at this. And so I say, the Democrats, you couldn't get more rude. How could they be more rude than they were? I mean, another person stand up and have Mike Johnson kick them out, tee them up and kick them out, and then censure another person? Where do we go for this? But I just look at this and go, what do we do? They're not focused on anything. They're focusing on censoring Al Green and focused on asking me for money. That's what Mike Johnson is doing. I call Mike member of Congress, and I can't get any progress. I can't get anything done. Right? I just can't know how to respond to this. What are we the people going to do? Trump is doing a great job, but I'm telling you right now, he's getting shut down at every turn. And I believe that the American people are the ones that are kind of missing in action. Okay, now we see a headline. Maxine Waters appears often unhinged. A video suggests she seems to believe that somehow Elon Musk's technology influenced the election. Western Journal. What do you think about that, folks? You got to really understand. Think about that. What do you think about that? They were the ones that mocked us and said we were conspiracy theorists because we said the elections were rigged. We still say they're rigged. Now they're admitting she believes they're rigged too. Right? Now you got Mike Johnson's House of Staff, Mike Johnson's Chief of Staff, busted for a DUI. This is the deal we're dealing with. Why do we have this clown out there that gets busted for a DUI? Right? Think about that. Maxine Waters unhinged, and now we got this DUI deal? House Speaker Johnson's Chief of Staff busted for alleged DUI. The Blaze. And I go, what? Candace Hathaway writes this piece for The Blaze. The guy's name is Hayden Haynes. Right? Busted for DUI. Two law enforcement sources told NBC News that Haynes ran into a Capitol vehicle shortly before midnight. Johnson's office confirmed the incident to the news outlet. The speaker has known and worked closely with this gentleman for a decade. One of the sources said that he was arrested and released with a citation to appear in court. That's according to the Capitol Police. Haynes' court date is within the coming weeks. They say the driver backed into a parked vehicle, and we responded and arrested them for DUI. When Johnson was asked if he plans to stand by his chief of staff, he said, I am. I've known him for over a decade. He's trusted and respected. He has my full faith and confidence to lead. Anyway, so everybody's just backing this clown that got a DUI now. How do you do that? In all fairness, how do you really do that, guys? How do you just go ahead and say, I've got every confidence in him in the world? What? That's the problem. That's the problem in America as far as I can tell, folks. We have literally got a clown show up there. Now, I don't see how you back this guy. I think if you're Mike Johnson, you say, listen, we don't support anybody driving under the influence of alcohol, and we can't accept that. He's wrong. So we're going to censure Al Green because he stood up and said, hey, Donald, you're out of control. That's his opinion. The rest of the Democrats sit there. We're not going to do anything with them, even though they were just as rude for way longer. They were rude for an hour and a half. Just disrespectful. And okay, and now we're going to go ahead and have this DUI, and then we're going to defend this DUI and say this guy's great. We've worked with him forever. And Maxine Waters literally doubling down and going, yeah, I think that Elon Musk's technology tampered with the elections. What? But that's what we're getting from these people. And as long as we keep them in office, we will continue to get this kind of, in my opinion, clown show. Right? Anyway, what a disgrace that is. House Speaker Johnson's chief of staff busted. Wow. Sad tale to tell. All right, hang tight. I got more. I am Sam Bushman. This is Liberty Roundtable Live.
Pursuing liberty, using the Constitution as our guide. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The House has voted to censure Congressman Al Green, the Texas Democrat who disrupted President Trump's congressional speech this week. Green offers no regrets, says he'd do it again. Today's vote falling pretty much along party lines. Second federal judge extending a block that bars the Trump administration from freezing grants and loans.
This time, a judge in Rhode Island granted the request for a preliminary injunction from nearly 24 Democratic states. Trillions of dollars of grant and loan money are at stake. Government lawyers argued the court lacks the constitutional authority to block the funding freeze, while the state said a long list of important social services are at risk. Trump administration officials have said Social Security, Medicare, and food stamps would not be affected. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Hamas brushing aside President Trump's threat that it will be destroyed if it fails to release all the hostages it's holding, and fails to do so immediately, and that includes the bodies of those who were murdered by the terrorists. The president writes on Truth Social, "This is your last warning." It seems that one of President Trump's priorities, reasserting American influence over the Panama Canal, is starting to bear fruit. BlackRock says it will buy 2 ports at either end of the strategic U.S.-built waterway.
The ports are currently under Chinese ownership via a Hong Kong firm, and due to security reasons, President Trump wants to regain control of the canal. BlackRock and a group of investors will pay $22.8 billion for the ports. They're also buying controlling interest in dozens of other ports around the world.
Correspondent Tasha Stevens. The powerful storms that left at least 3 people dead in Mississippi are on the move, bringing blizzard conditions to Nebraska and parts of southern Minnesota. Watching Wall Street, the Dow down 114 points. The Nasdaq is off 160. More on these stories at townhall.com.
3 years ago, I wrapped up a run of Annie playing Daddy Warbucks with the South Carolina Children's Theater. I was about 50 pounds overweight, tired, sick, fed up with the way I felt. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I had to do something. I scheduled my weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. And as they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I lost over 50 pounds. I took control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off and I feel better than ever. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. It'll change your life. It's fast, it's simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call at 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. That's 855-696-2020. 855-696-2020. Here's the best part. First 11 callers who mention the keyword healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call today. 855-696-2020. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began, Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication and excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust, standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at rustgoldandsilver.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcast at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com. Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman on your radio. Hard-hitting news that the networks refuse to use. There's so much to cover, I just don't even know how to get to it all. MSNBC response to 13-year-old cancer or patient. They say is let me see how to say this here. MSNBC, their response to the 13-year-old cancer survivor called one of the worst cable news moments ever. Boy, do I agree with that. What a disgrace this is. But we're going to go ahead and allow those guys to be part of the press corps still, right? I mean, I appreciate Caroline Levitt and others say we're going to have a different press corps. It's going to change. I appreciate the Trump report being released by Salem News and others. I think that's great. But I'm telling you, why are these clowns allowed to cover the president like this? Okay, I mean, you can have a beef with President Trump, but literally you're going to have this response on cable news. One of the worst cable news moments ever. You're going to spend your time censoring Al Green when you've literally got, folks, this scenario where this Mike Johnson aide or whatever you want to call him, chief of staff, DUI, right? Anyway, just thought I'd bring that to your attention. All right, another kind of issue here that's interesting. There's a guy, he's a Daily Caller editorial director. I don't know how to say his last name. His name is Vince Coglianese. Anyway, I guess he'll be the one taking over FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino's 12 to 3 p.m. nationally syndicated Westwood One radio program and his popular podcast, Gambino Revealed. I'm sorry, Bongino. Gambino, wow. Bongino Revealed. So you look at that and you go, wow. Special people get, special deal. If all of a sudden you got a show like that on Westwood One, instantly they pop you on there. You got a bunch of affiliates. Wow. Pretty good. Now, pretty soon you'll find Dan, after he leaves the White House, will somehow cycle back to the media, and this other guy will be basically cycling from the media to service in the White House or whatever. And you just see all that, So Vince has been launched to stardom more so than ever before. Dan Bongino says, hey, you know what? We're going to, this guy's incredible, and you'll love him. Maybe so. But that's how it's done. The mainstream press just recycles their own. Everybody else locked out. Anyway, all right. There's another story of interest that I really want to focus on. I really want to make sure you're aware of the updates on this. Headline says, D.C. Police Department finally agrees to release Jan 6th body cam video. However, for an extortion level price, writes Ben Zeisler on westernjournal.com. So listen up. Police department finally agrees to release J6 footage for a big price. How much? When a conservative legal group, Judicial Watch, filed a public records request or a FOIA request for local police footage of the January 6th event, they were told that the request would cost $1.6 million. I get you. $1.6 million. Judicial Watch filed another $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against the government, the Capitol Police, for Ashley Babbitt's murder, right? She was shot and killed by a Capitol Police officer during the event. And there you have it, right? Now, they say the trial date for the Ashley Babbitt scenario is currently set for July 20th, 2026. July 20, 2026. So hopefully we'll get some answers there. So much for a speedy trial. When was this? 2001. Ashley was murdered in 2026. We're looking at a trial date. And the trial date has to do with the $30 million, wrongful death lawsuit. So there you have that. But now Judicial Watch has also sued the Department of Justice for all FBI files on Ashley Babbitt. I commend them. We got to do that. So where's Pam? Right? Where is Ashley Babbitt? The DOJ. Right? Now, maybe they will let the lawsuit go. Listen. If Kash Patel and Pam Bondi cooperates. Right? We could save probably a bunch of money. They also sued the CIA for all records related to any shots fired inside the Capitol building that day, as well as records of requests for CIA support, including, quote, bomb technicians and bomb detecting dogs. They were placed on standby or used as a response to the massive protest around Washington. Now, that's kind of the question or whatever, right? What do we got on that? You think anything? You got to really kind of wonder, because this is about correcting the wrongs that have happened over the last many years, right? Especially towards conservatives and others. I mean, Steve Stockman tried to stop Lois Lerner from her clown show, right? But yet, we made no progress. Wow. I don't even know how to respond to this. It's just so crazy. But suing the CIA and the FBI, good for Judicial Watch. That needs to be done. Were there shots filed in the Capitol building that day? The only one is, as far as I can tell, is murdering Ashley, right? Wow. Where do you go from here with this stuff? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I want to get to the bottom of the Seth Rich scandal. Do you want to dig into the Seth Rich scandal where they just said, oh, that poor guy got robbed and, well, they never took anything, but he's dead? And then we're trying to dig into that. Hopefully Kash Patel and crew can do something about that. Right? Man, we've got so many things to work on. I just don't know how you even focus on all of them. Any idea? Now people are trying to put temporary restraining orders against Doge. And it's crazy. Everything they're doing is just out of control. The folks over at Gun Owners are trying to make a difference and protect your gun rights. Hopefully we can unwind a lot of the abuse on your Second Amendment and First Amendment rights that have been done by the Biden administration and crew. Hopefully we can get to the bottom of it with President Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and others. We've got to do something. Now Tina Peters has the attention, according to the Lindell Defense Fund, or Offense Fund. Tina Peters has, they say, the attention of U.S. Attorney. And I pray that means that somebody gets to the bottom of her case and gives her relief, because she's being abused till the cows come home, right? Anyway, the Lindell Offense Fund doing a great job. Got to give them credit, show them our appreciation, right? Mike Lindell doing a great job, right? Tina Peters hopefully can have justice, right? I sure hope so. I don't have a lot of confidence, though, do you? I mean, I appreciate that they're looking at it, but, man, seems like everything they work on, when you dig in, you go, oh, we thought it was going to be this, and it's really this, and it's not as we expected, and, so on, right? I mean, isn't that what we see over and over and over? To me, it's a sad tale. But I want to commend the Lindell Offense Fund. Tina Peters has the attention of the U.S. Attorney. Will they come to the knowledge of the truth on this thing? I sure pray the answer is yes. Because, man, we need it. We need a win here, people. And I don't mean just a hollow win like, oh, Doge saved us $55 billion. And then it's like, oh, every number there is challenged. It's hard to even know what the truth is, right? It's hard to know where to go with any of this stuff. China says it's ready for any war with the U.S. BBC.com. I don't want to go to war. Do you want to go to war? I think we can avoid war. What if we start with defunding, Mike John? And then let's bring our troops home and protect the homeland for a change. We've already got protection on the U.S. border. Less illegals, less criminals are coming through every single day. That's a great, great, great start. But, man, we got to start working on this thing in very meaningful ways. And you better do it fast, right? All right, hang tight. More in seconds. I'm Sam Bushman. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use. Coming up, you're listening to Liberty Roundtable Live.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement, how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at CSPOA.org. That's CSPOA.org.
Do you know what is great about America? Ask an Immigrant. Ask an Immigrant is a new podcast dedicated to helping Americans, especially our youth, value, appreciate, and be grateful for the freedoms we have here in America. Join host Lydia Wallace-Nuttall as she interviews immigrants from around the world to discover their inspiring personal stories about why they came to America. To learn more about why America is the most prosperous, greatest country in the world, download the Loving Liberty app or go to lovingliberty.net.
Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman, the final segment today on your radio. I don't even understand it, really, what's going on. We censure Al Green. We should be working on things that matter for the country. Al already got kicked out, already got teed up. Anyway, what a disgrace that is. DUI by Mike Johnson's big staffer. Chief of Staff Hayden Haynes busted, DUI. Yeah, when asked whether he plans to stand by him, he said, absolutely, this guy's fantastic. Okay. Now, D.C. Police Department finally agrees to release the January 6th video. Wait a minute. Hold on. They want how much? They wanted, what, $1.6 million for this? Well, it turns out that I thought that Mike Johnson, or what's the guy's name before Mike? Kevin McCarthy. I thought that guy was going to release all 40,000 hours. He released a little blip or two to Tucker and called it good and lied. We got rid of him for that. Matt Gaetz doing a great job shutting down that clown show. Now Mike Johnson's there and Mike hasn't released a thing. Are all bets off with that? What about those 40,000 hours? You've got literally a legal attorney firm, Judicial Watch, suing. Yeah. Filing public records requests, suing the FBI, suing the Capitol Police, suing CIA, right? And now suing the Department of Justice for all files on Ashley Babbitt. Okay, I agree. But they protected that clown that murdered her. He needs to go to jail. Now we're digging into the Tina Peters issue. Thank heavens for the Lindell Offense Fund. They're doing a great job, and we need them. They're really highlighting a key issue here. China says it's ready for any type of war, whatever that means. That doesn't mean a lot of good to me. It's just a disgrace. All right, I want to focus on the last couple of days and things we covered really quick. We had our guest on, Lou Moore, who's well known former campaign manager for Ron Paul. He runs a website called securevote.news. Check that out. He also is the host of Hour of Decision, a weekend radio program syndicated on libertynewsradio.com. That's libertynewsradio.com. We also had on our guest Klickitat County current Sheriff Bob Songer. Klickitatcounty.org to learn more. We talked about the Senate confirmed Linda McMahon to lead the Department of Education. I hope she shuts that down. The sooner the better. Otherwise, we're just going to get swamped by the swamp, right? Pam Bondi announced that she received a truckload of the Epstein documents after being misled by the FBI. Whose head's going to roll for that, Pam? Secondarily, when are you going to release the information? I get redacting the innocents' names. I support that. The rest needs to be released yesterday. Right. We talked about the Trump report, border crossings at an all-time low under President Trump. I think that's great news. The Pentagon, believe it or not, is now sending down 3,000 more active duty troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, fulfilling a central promise of his campaign. Trump, they say, triggers trade war. I don't agree with that. With tariffs on Canada, China, and Mexico, that's KSL News, shame on them. Trump isn't triggering a tariff war. All we're doing is putting tariffs in place where we've been snookered. Our trade deficits are in the billions. It's got to stop. It's got to stop somewhere. So U.S. pauses aid to the Ukraine. Now you got judges trying to challenge every savings Trump tries to put in place. We need to impeach these judges. The next question everybody's asking, is it time to transfer frozen Russia assets to Ukraine? Calls grow louder to get that done. No, the money's roughly $300 billion, people. From Russia's, quote, central bank. It was frozen by the United States, the European Union, Britain, and others after Russia invaded the Ukraine back in, 2022, I guess, right? The aim was to punish him for his attack, and the goal was to prevent him having funds for going to war. The problem is we've tied up his money. Where we get authority to do that is beyond me. We think somehow it's like he's a god or something. We don't have authority to tie up Russia's money. Furthermore, hey, most of these places have been getting oil from Russia and other places, literally funding their engine. They're better off now than they were before the war started financially and everything else. We haven't done nothing but aided and abetted both sides of this war. The question is, should Trump take over Gaza? I did a video on that. It's up at libertyroundtable.com. The answer is a resounding no. We talked about wars and rumors of wars. Our founding fathers rejected U.S. hegemony. Amen for that. I also talked about the Liberty Roundtable live video short. They need to change their name to paper shredders. You got people shredding paperwork at the FBI and everything else. Is there really going to be head rolling over this? Friend to life, Lila Rose emails me. Founder and president of Live Action. I have an urgent request, she says. Walgreens and CVS will begin selling the lethal murder abortion pill. This means that in pro-abortion states, they're going to basically continue to sell these drugs over the line. The U.S. Supreme Court will soon hear this, and we need to deal with this, right? ASAP. Good for Lila. We talked about it's official. The White House says that the grid is in danger. We don't have a stable grid. It's unstable in America. We're talking about the power grid. That's why President Trump's trying to bring on power plants that Biden and clowns shut down. Bring those power plants back immediately. Let's have stable, consistent, abundant power. There is a way forward for that, people. There really is. We also talked about this teen spray painted a car in revenge plot against ex-boyfriend. Turns out she got the wrong car. Yeah, you guys, I guess spray painted the wrong dang car, the cop said. It's just like, what? But that's what we're seeing everywhere, right? That's what we're seeing all over the place. We had our guest on, Mr. Lowell Nelson, as well. Trump's right cut everything, even the bloated defense budget. Yes, amen. John J. Duncan over at LouRockwell.com wrote that piece. On February the 13th, President Trump made a very strong statement. What did he say? He says, folks, there's no reason why we should be spending $1 trillion on the military. Let's chop it in half. We should. We should cut defense spending in half, people. Right? Trump has a brilliant plan to forge a new Russia agreement. Anyway, doctrine of the lesser magistrates, we talked a lot about that as well. When a superior or higher government authority makes unjust or immoral laws or decrees, amen to the higher authority of that group. And hello to those who will keep their oaths of office, even if they are perceived at a lesser station. The lesser magistrate takes the moral high road. The Federal Reserve killed the penny. Is MAGA next? I pray not. But there's people trying to put together a bill right now in the House and the Senate. Right? President Trump may have signed the death certificate, but the Federal Reserve is the penny's true killer. Right? President Trump should call on the House and the Senate to pass the Audit the Fed bill. We encourage everyone to call their representative. Right? We've got to get this done. We've really got to start to make a difference here and get involved, folks. We can end the Fed if we try. You going to help us? I really think we need to get this done now. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. Can we get the House to do our bidding? To do our will? When China says it's ready for any kind of war? It's so egregious, I don't even know how to respond to it almost. We've got to focus on things that matter. Right? We've got to focus on things that matter. For example, Republican senators, or Senator Mike Lee and Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie will reintroduce legislation titled the Federal Reserve Abolition Act. Would dissolve the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, and it would shut it down. Are you going to call your congressmen and senators and ask them to please do that? Are we going to really get that done? Because that, in my opinion, is the next step in Congress. We need to audit and end the Fed. We don't need to spend our time censoring Al Green. We all know he's a clown. He got kicked out, okay? We have got to start to focus on these things of importance. We got to focus on not increasing the debt ceiling. We got to focus on spending proper role of government and putting Doge savings in place immediately. We've got to spend time auditing and ending the Federal Reserve. I mean, whatever happened to the idea we're going to march into Fort Knox and check it out? Full live video, GoPro live video cameras on people's, heads pointing to what's going on. Are we going to have that stuff, or was it all talk? I'm about out of patience, though. I've just had it. We look at this stuff over and over and over and over, and you go, what? What are they doing? At the end of the day, I support President Trump and his initiatives. There's a few things that I'm not quite excited about. For example, we're going to end up with Greenland either way. I don't really know that you determine the sovereignty of people like that. They have their own self-determination at stake here. And, they can become a separate country, stay part of Denmark or whatever, or join the United States, but shouldn't they be self-determining? So I don't agree with Trump on everything, but man, he's doing a great job, and we the people better back him, and we better insist that our Congress critters back him as well. If we don't, we're going to have heck to pay. Let's pray for the president, pray for Congress, and then let's kneel down and figure out what our role is and get up and go to work, shall we? We all can make a difference together. After all, we the people, under God Almighty, is what the greatest country on the face of the earth is all about. Let's become a light on a hill once again, shall we? We need your help. LovingLiberty.net, our nationally syndicated radio network. That's LovingLiberty.net. Spread the word, share the love, and God save the Republic of the United States of America.